Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video. This is another video in my 100 Guitarist series. I've picked over 100 guitar players over four main style categories: jazz, blues, rock, and country. Okay, so this guy, Scotty Anderson, is the guy I'm going to do a video on, the first of two videos. He's kind of a hybrid. He's a country player, but he could play the heck out of jazz too, and I'm sure he could do whatever else he wanted to do. But this lick is off of his recording Boog's Boogie, B-O-O-G''S Boogie. You can find it on YouTube and check it out. Now this lick is his second solo. It's over an E blues, and actually over an E7 chord. So the one chord in an E blues, and it's the first lick of his second solo, which occurs around 2:20 of the track, right after the organ solo. Okay, so let me play the lick. All right, there's the lick. Let's go in for a close-up. All right, here we are. So like I said, this lick is over an E7 chord, and it's the first lick of his second solo. And the crazy lick as it is, I didn't play it at the tempo that he plays it at. So check out the recording, and he plays it at a blazing speed that I'm not quite up to. If I'm having a good day, I could play it, but it's tough to get up to that tempo. So I'm still working on it. But the nice thing about it doesn't need to be at that speed to sound great. So you can play it at a medium tempo, and it'll sound killer. It's got some great blues ideas in there. So again, it's over E7. And the first thing he does, he plays a B minor 7th arpeggio off over the E7. And what that gives you is an E9 sound. Let me explain. Okay, so we're starting here. Let me show you how to play it first. We're on the 14th fret, and we're kind of thinking of this B minor 7 shape. We're going 1, 4. I'll give you the fingerings first. 1, 4, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1. All down up picking. Okay, so that's coming out of that shape right there. So it's if I relate all these notes to an E7, that will kind of answer your question as to why he's doing that. B is the 5th over the E7 chord. D is the flat 7, so that's all minor pentatonic at this point. This F sharp is actually the 9 over the E7, so you've got this sound, your James Brown sound. Okay, so he's got 5, flat 7, 9, and then we've got A and B over here. So A is the 4th over E, and B is the 5th. Okay, and then he continues up, and it kind of repeats at that point. So this note at the 15th fret is the D, which is the flat 7, and then we go to the 9 again. Okay, so anytime you're playing a dominant 7th chord, you can play a minor arpeggio, a minor 7th arpeggio built off the 5th note, off of the 5th note of the chord, and you're going to get that 9th chord sound. Okay, so let me say that again. So you can play a minor 7 arpeggio built off of the 5th of a dominant 7th chord. Or a minor 7th chord for that matter, because he's not within this arpeggio. It doesn't identify it as major or minor. There's no G sharp or G. So if I could play this over E minor, and it'll be an E minor 9 sound. Okay, so you can play it over minor 7ths or dominant 7ths and get a 9th sound over your chord. Okay, so he does that. Okay, so instead of playing this note, which would be the highest note within this position for the B minor 7 arpeggio, he goes an extra step, right? So if I just hang on to that note and sustain it for a while, it's not going to sound good, right? But he doesn't do that. He backs off a half step, and he bends up a whole step to get to this note. So watch this. And that's a pretty cool move there. He plays it so fast, so you don't hear that dissonance so much. So the speed is a factor. Okay, so if he was playing a really slow ballad and he did that, I don't think he'd be able to pull that off. Maybe, I guess it depends on how he would play that, but he plays it really fast there. Okay, so that's pretty much the first half of the lick. Then the second half, he kind of mixes major and minor sounds over the E7. So he goes into a classic blues move. You'll hear that all over the place. Not just for blues players, for many styles that will do that kind of thing in their own blues playing. Okay, so we've got this on the 15th fret. 15, 13, 15. So follow along with the tab if you have a hard time with that. So this note's on the second string. And that's the root. Again, we're over the E7. Then he goes back here. This is the flat 3 of the minor pentatonic. So that little nugget right there, you could play that anywhere. So it's 4, flat 3, 4, 1, flat 3, 3. So there's that mixture of major and minor that players who have evolved a little bit more past the just playing minor pentatonics over everything, they'll play things like that. Okay, so now, so he kind of outlined the major aspect of the chord. And in blues playing, you'll find this major-minor combination a lot. So watch this. So that's kind of blues scale territory. So the formula for a blues scale, for those that don't know, is 1, flat 3, 4, sharp 4, 5, flat 7. And this part right here, we've got 1, 5, sharp 4, 4. So I have to kind of shift back for the 4 over here. I go, all right, I have to do that. All right, so then I come down here to get the flat 3 of the scale. All right, and then he comes up here. It's an octave of this note, so it's flat 3, flat 3. They're both G's. So again, it's the flat 3 over E7. So it gives you that tension against the third. So the chord is this with a G sharp, and this G gives you that blues tension, I guess, for lack of a better word. All right, so let's recap that. Scratch that last note. Let me try it again. All right, then we're almost done. We've got a few more notes. So these notes, it's still minor pentatonic. All right, so let me play it again. These last few notes, I'm second finger on the 15th fret and the first finger on the 14th fret of the third string. We do it twice. Ba-da, ba-da. And then we come into our box position of E minor pentatonic. Flat 3, 4, flat 3, 1. Kind of similar to what we did up here. Okay, so I'm going to do the lick one more time at slow speed. You want to stop the video if you want to catch up before you do this. Here we go. A little bit faster. Okay, so again, Scotty plays it blazing, and if you haven't checked him out, go check him out. Run, go check him out. So even though he plays it at a blazing tempo, and it would be great if we all could get it up to that speed, it's not really necessary. We can play this lick and it'll sound great. And there's a lot of things you can learn from this lick. Again, we got the minor 7th arpeggio built off the 5th of the dominant chord that gives you that 9th chord flavor. Right? And then we've got this little technique where he's trying to get up to this this B note up here, which is the 5th of the chord, but he doesn't quite get there. He puts his pinky up here on the 18th fret, and he does that whole step bend. So that's a really cool sound. Then the little blues lick. So that last little part, he's utilizing 2 different positions of E minor pentatonic, an E blues. So basically, I look at the blues scale as just kind of a variation on the pentatonic scale. Excuse me. So we've got these 2 patterns. What we call the basic box pattern. And then it goes up with the pinky. Okay, so he's playing it out of those 2 different patterns. Okay, so what you want to do, you want to learn it as I've presented it to you, but also you want to kind of be able to use that in other keys. So say if you're doing A7, what's the 5th of an A7 chord? E, right? So I've got so if I just take this 6-string bar chord, 7th chord, and I put my first finger on the E, I play the exact same pattern that we did up here for B. We just do it off of the E. Alright, and I'm sure you can find other areas in the guitar you can play that minor 7th arpeggio off the 5th of a dominant chord. Now, not only does it work over dominant chords, it works over minor 7th chords. Because this arpeggio doesn't outline major or minor, because it doesn't involve the 3rd. Instead of the 3rd, it's the F sharp, which is the 2 or the 9. So it doesn't have a G or G sharp in it. So you could play over minor 7 or major 7. I'm sorry, minor 7 or dominant 7th. You can't play it over major 7 because it doesn't have the D sharp. It has a D natural in it, which is the flat 7. All right, thanks for checking out that video, and stay tuned for the next Scotty Anderson video. Thank you.